So if you guys didn't know, Disney is currently undergoing a bit of a civil war. There is a group of what they refer to as activist investors that are basically trying to secure power within Disney. They're trying to take some people off of the board of directors and elect their own people, and they believe that Disney has fallen off in the past few years and that there needs to be changes within the company. And I mean, I guess they're not necessarily wrong about that, but the current leaders at Disney, they believe that they are making those changes, obviously. We've talked a lot about how when the new Disney CEO came in, he started putting in all of these mandates to put Disney movies on Disney Plus at the same day that they went in theaters, stuff like that. They kind of ruined Pixar by turning them into a streaming production company. They were putting all the Pixar movies on Disney Plus. And, we've also talked about how there was a literal mandate from that new CEO to make way too much Marvel content because, there were a couple years where there were 3 Marvel movies, 3 Disney Plus shows, and 2 special presentations, and the I Am Groot shorts. The quality dipped. Superhero fatigue actually started to become a real thing. But then we talked about how that new Disney CEO got fired, and Bob Iger, he's come in and he's trying to steer and steady the ship and whatever. And they see this group of activist investors as bro, what are you doing? We're already trying to fix things. You're unnecessary. So that's kind of the dynamic here. And, obviously as an audience member, I just want good movies. I want good Marvel movies again. And I'm personally looking to the future with a bit of optimism, right? Okay, they're scaling back. They're literally taking 2024 off, right? We're only getting Deadpool and Wolverine this year. And Agatha. I think we're only getting those 2 MCU projects this year. And I think that now that Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel Studios, and mind you, the guy that is responsible for creating the highest grossing, most successful film franchise ever in the history of cinema, now that he's able to really have the influence that he once had on all the Marvel projects, I personally believe that we're going to have maybe superhero fatigue has set in and just the genre is dead. Well, maybe. But I believe that we're going to at least get some quality films again. But hey, maybe those activist investors, maybe they have better ideas about how to fix Marvel. Kevin Feige doesn't know what he's doing, am I right? One of the investors in question, Nelson Peltz, he had this to say: "Why do I have to have a Marvel movie that's all women?" By the way, I have no idea if that's his accent. I'm just kind of assuming that. I could be completely wrong. Not that I have anything against women, but why do I have to do that? Why can't I have Marvels that are both? First of all, I have to question if Mr. Nelson has seen any Marvel movie. Because, contrary to what he's saying here, none of the Marvel movies have had an all-female cast. That movie just doesn't exist. By the way, this line here that says, "Why can't I have Marvels that are both?" That doesn't make any sense. I'm assuming he's just reiterating the idea that he wants Marvel movies that have both male and female casts. But again, that just doesn't make any sense because that's what they all are. So, yeah, he's identified a problem here that simply doesn't exist. So, great job. The guy that's supposedly going to save the company doesn't even know what the movies consist of. Why do I need an all-black cast? So, sir, there's not a movie with an all-black cast. that also doesn't exist. Now, you get really close with the first Black Panther movie. I think the only main cast member that isn't black is Martin Freeman, but he counts. He does count. You cannot discount him. Obviously, the second Black Panther movie is a bunch of black people and Mexicans fighting, so that one really doesn't count. Another swing and a miss, right? This guy that's supposedly going to save Disney doesn't know anything about the movies that they make. So then Peltz goes on to state, "People go to watch a movie or a show to be entertained. They don't go to get a message." Now, this really is just a bizarre criticism in my opinion, because the problem with Marvel movies are not that they have messages. And again, the guy just doesn't know anything about the movies that he's talking about. Because if we look at The Marvels, that's the lowest grossing MCU movie, there's no message in that movie. Maybe there's like some vague anti-colonialist messaging in that movie, because there's the bit where Miss Marvel looks sad because the aliens are dying. It was not like the first Captain Marvel. There's no point where any of the characters are like disrespected because they're women. Like, that's just not a thing in that movie. When he's saying that like people, they want to be entertained, they don't go to get a message. But it's like the other movie that's being discussed here are the Black Panther movies. Those are some of the higher grossing MCU movies. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is like technically the ultimate woke movie. That is a movie that does have a bunch of female leads, has a bunch of black people, a bunch of Mexican people in that movie. That movie made like $850 million. By the way, that's a pretty good chunk of change considering they had to deal with the loss of Chadwick Boseman. The guy just has no idea what he's talking about. So like, as a viewer, and I'm looking at this situation, obviously Disney like needs to get their act together, right? Marvel needs to get their act together. Lucasfilm needs to get their act together. Pixar needs to get their act together. Do I think that like these like activist investors know how to make it all happen? No. Do I think that some people should probably lose their jobs? Yeah, like Kathleen Kennedy. It's time to pack your bags, girl. I'm sorry, but you've obviously been doing a really bad job. And on that front, Nelson Peltz is asked if he thinks that Kevin Feige should be removed as president of Marvel Studios, and he replied, "I'm not ready to say that, but I question his record." What? Kevin Feige's record is creating the most successful film franchise in the history of cinema. If you really are the guy that's going to get Disney back on track, and you don't recognize that it's most likely the case that like the deterioration of the MCU has come from a quantity over quality mindset, then yeah, as a viewer, I don't want you to be in charge of Disney. Like, no. In the past few years, they've literally said that there was a quantity over quality mandate, and you don't recognize that that's most likely the reason for the deterioration of Marvel. And like, when you go to criticize Marvel, your like first thought is to go to, there are too many women and black people in those movies. Yeah, and I'm just questioning Kevin Feige's record. Does Disney need fixing? Yes. Are you somebody that should be getting more decision-making power? No. You clearly have no idea what's going on. But let me know what you think. Do you think that there are too many black people and women in Marvel movies? Do you agree that with Nelson Peltz that movies shouldn't have messages? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.